Going well. Tony Laulu is the founder of Digital Discipline, which promotes social media awareness and well-being, educating people on the impact of social media and providing practical solutions to combat social media addiction. Digital Discipline is currently rolling out a new series of free workshops in partnership with Spark, running at a few of the local churches, and he joins us now in studio for more. Maro soifora, and thank you so much for your time today, Tony.
Maro soifua, no sunga, Brian.
Well, I tell you what, this is a milestone moment for us on Pacific Days. You are our first in-studio guest for over a year, so congratulations.
Nice.
Good. Well, firstly, just for those of our listeners and online viewers, Tony, maybe not too familiar with the amazing work that Digital Discipline does. Can you tell us a bit more, please?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the time that we have to spend, Brian. Digital Discipline was born out of my own struggles with social media about 10 years ago, and so I guess all it is we do workshops and run these sort of expert talanoa sessions around the impact that social media has in our sort of society and community today. And so we're out in the churches, the schools and community groups to firstly raise awareness around how it's been impacting us, especially during these COVID times, but also providing our people with some solutions on how to reduce that screen time and be aware of the whole range of things that usually stem from social media or screen time.
When we're looking at social media, because I suppose it's like that thing with money, eh? Money in itself inherently is not evil, but it's more in the person that has the money. And I suppose with social media the same, like if it's too much of social media, what are some of the impacts that come as a result, especially for our young impressionable youth, Tony?
Yes, definitely it. And I think sometimes we look at the actual physical devices, it looks pretty harmless as opposed to a cigarette or some drugs or gambling. What people don't really factor in when we have these devices, especially for parents of younger children, we're talking intermediate and high schools, they don't factor in the adverse effects that it has on our young people over a long period of time. And it starts to impact, there's a whole spectrum of stuff, but it starts to impact their mental health. And what I mean by that is their self-esteem, their self-worth, their body image, their self-image, all starts to get tested because of all of the content that they're consuming on there. And so what you're saying is definitely right. I am on social media, and I have no issues with it. Social media is one of those double-edged swords. It's important for our survival. For any business, they need social media, but also on the flip side is too much of it. We start to see the issues.
It's interesting because earlier today I read an article in the Herald talking about the rise in nose job procedures as a result of selfies in there, and you think, what? So that's one part of the sort of bigger puzzle, I suppose. Now, in terms of the new workshops that you're currently rolling out, Tony, in partnership with Spark, how did it all come about?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's all glory to God. None of these opportunities would have come if it wasn't for him feeling like there was some favor involved. So I don't deserve where I'm at the moment, but at the same time, really grateful. In terms of the Spark, I guess I have some work that I do with the Ministry of Education, and they must have seen me overachieve, I guess, in the work there. And they also too have components to their work that they needed as well in terms of digital well-being. And so for them, from what they said, it was an easy transition it was an easy sort of relationship to try and have with Digital Discipline to get me on board to run workshops in the community. And so I guess it stemmed from there. They also have supported in other ways where they, were interested in the books that we've written as well. But they've been a massive supporter of digital wellbeing, not necessarily me as a person, but the values and the solutions that Digital Discipline has fills a hole in some of their work, and so that's where we're looking to plug, and I guess it's a nice little fit for them.
So in terms of the workshops, give us an overview of the workshops and where they're currently being run, and some of the content involved with the workshops, please, Tony.
Yeah, since schools have been understanding the transition of their students coming back, just been super busy the last week or two with inquiries from schools from west side, central, out south to try and get digital discipline within the schools. In terms of capacity, we're stretched to the absolute limit. However, with growing this team, we'll be able to run workshops out in the churches, and so that's one of the particulars about this relationship with Spark, is they were really interested to invest in our church communities, and so that will be something that will be rolling out sort of end of Q2, beginning of Q3, where we will need to start running these workshops within the church space. And what that entails really quickly is first and foremost establishing what social media is, how it impacts us, and then we delve deep into the constructs of what this actually does to young people, what it does in a family dynamic, what it does for parents, all those adverse effects, but then we always wrap it up with tools and solutions.
So is it only a certain age group, or for our mātua as well? You're opening it up to all ages?
With the church push, definitely for everybody. I know that we've had some inquiries over the last couple of weeks and months from youth groups, and I think those are really important. But for me, ideally, it would just be to speak to the parents, because I could do workshops with the young people all day long, but they're not the ones that control what happens in the home, and it's what happens in the home, and those who govern a family unit are the ones that this is probably more so for.
When you've done workshops in the past with youth, Tony, has there been a consistent theme that comes through, or a question that comes up time and time again with our young people in particular when it comes to social media?
I think one of the biggest concerns, and I'll touch on what they've said, but one of the biggest concerns from these youth groups and definitely the schools, the top three priorities, that the challenges that they're facing are, firstly is the cyberbullying, or the online bullying. A lot of the communication online is absolutely horrible sometimes. Secondly is around self-esteem, and I guess like you said about your example, it's taking something that's curated and made up already and thinking that I need to perform to that level when it's all made up anyway. And then thirdly is around the distraction element. With a lot of the schools being online, and them transitioning back into coming to school, a lot of the kids are saying that they actually prefer to be online, and that stems from the convenience and being in a comfort zone of just not being at school, not having to answer it to a teacher face to face. And like we were at school all those years ago, we always try and weasel our way out of stuff and not be at the front of the class. So being online's just another element to hiding. And I'm not saying that that's our kids to a T, but those are the challenges that some of our schools are facing.
So with regards to the details, or for the workshops and that, where can people find out more information, please, Tony?
Can hit us up on our website. That's digitaldiscipline.co.nz, or email us on info@digitaldiscipline.co.nz. And ironically enough, you can find us on social media as well, on Facebook and Instagram. Drop us a message there, and we'll be happy to work with you guys.
Tony Laulu, founder of Digital Discipline, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, and all the very best for the upcoming workshops.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is 21 minutes past 2. A general fire, it's you, 5:31 PI, bringing Pacific people together.